I think we're getting there. Should be getting there. I think we are. Let's see if we're live. Yay, we are. We are live and cooking. All right, guys, give me just a second here. I'll just go ahead and just have to get some things out the way. And just one last thing. I don't know why Donald Trump is stuck in my head. Bump Donald Trump. I don't know why that song is stuck in my head right now, but it's awesome. I don't know why it's stuck in my head, but hey, if it's stuck in my head, it must be there for a reason. So, with that being said, guys, welcome to the Git Bit Podcast, the Blur podcast. That is for blurs and non-blurs, and nerds to enjoy. I host most Will Buchanan, and this episode is really going to be more along the lines, guys, of just video game releases that are coming out, as well as some reviews on some games that I've played, and I think that you may enjoy, and I just want to bring them to light. But first, there's some, I know, like I said, this is a nice little bit reprieve as we just went through the longest election. I'm not going to really get into that, but I'm just glad to say that it's over, and now we need to have some distractions. And what better distractions than we can have than video games? So, with that being said, BioWare, which I still haven't forgiven them for Anthem. Still haven't forgiven them for Anthem because that could have been a great game, but BioWare and EA messed that up. However, I guess this is their way of saying an apology letter because BioWare had just released this information about a day ago. Now, I know a lot of y'all are thinking right now, if you're like me and you love Mass Effect, I have every Mass Effect game except Andromeda um, for reasons, because Andromeda really wasn't that good. But for the rest of us that actually played Mass Effect from 1 to 3, you may have loved 1, you may have thought 2 was awesome, you might have some hindrances about 3, especially the ending, but they fixed it. Overall, Mass Effect was actually I still think is one of the best trilogy games where your decisions, for all those that don't know about Mass Effect, it was surrounding the story of Commander Shepard, which you could have made as a male or female, and it really took the role of this individual through 3 different games. And what I love about Mass Effect is that the choices that you made ultimately affect the next game that you played. So, pretty much, if you played Mass Effect 1, the choices that you made in 1 will alter 2, and then so far 3. When I tell you guys, it was actually it's still one of my favorite games to play. I still go back on my Xbox 360 and I still go play it. But to now actually see that they're going to do a remastery of it all, for it looks like it will be for Xbox One and PS4, because even with those new systems actually about to be coming out, the next gen systems that will be coming out very soon, that the life cycles for Xbox One and PS4 are still going on at least for the next couple of years. So definitely, if you already haven't pre-ordered, then there's really no rush on that right now. But with that also being said, guys, it's just for me, I am a Mass Effect fan. It is still one of my, like I said before, one of my favorite games to play. I never get tired of seeing the very same cutscenes between Shepard, between Garrus, Rex, if you kept them alive, Grunt. It goes down the line. I mean, there are so many iconic characters from the I almost said television show, but but there's so many iconic characters from the video game itself that I still to this day still wonder how they got Andromeda wrong. because Andromeda was supposed to be the next one up in the Mass Effect universe, and it was crappy. I mean, there's no other way to say that. It was crappy. But actually, because that wasn't the only bit of news, I will say only because not only we are going to get a remaster of the whole entire Mass Effect trilogy, including all the DLCs that came with it. There is a rumor, and I say rumor with all the distinction in the world. There is a rumor that there could be another Mass Effect game. Now, it will be great to see what they do with it. I'm a little bit hesitant because, again, I'm having Andromeda vibe from it. And the only thing that was wrong with Andromeda was it was a rush game. Now, this kind of goes back into what I'm saying about these games like Cyberpunk 2077 is being pushed back, and other games are being pushed back. And I say this before and I say it again. We waited 10 plus years just to get Final Fantasy Remake 7 Part 1. And that could be rumored out to be 3 or 4 parts. Now, if you waited 10 years and you've played Final Fantasy 7 Remake and you loved it, and even though we had to wait 10 years, hey, if you waited 10 years for that game, then we can wait 10 years for another game. Because the thing about these polished games don't have problems. They don't have patches or bugs or anything of that nature. I know I didn't experience anything of that with Final Fantasy VII Remake. And even with other games that were pushed back when they were finally released, they were very great games. God of War is a prime example of that. God of War was released. I didn't see any bugs or anything with the game itself. So, again, with this idea of games being pushed back, especially in the words of Mass Effect was just a Mass Effect and Anthem, which were both released by EA, unfortunately shows you that if you rush a game, it will have problems. Don't believe me? Look at Marvel's Avengers right now. But aside from that, guys, like I said, that is great news as far as that goes. Now, also, with that also being said, guys, there is another bit of news that I did want to bring up. With that, like I said, with games that I've seen and reviewed and things of that nature, I showed this game last week and said that I was going to buy this game and see how it plays. And I actually did play it and loved it. And I just wanted to give I just want to give my review of Ghost Runner. So let me go ahead and play the trailer again for all those that, of course, never heard of it or just curious to see what it's about.
I'll handle things from here on.
Okay, so that was Ghost Runner, and even this game, like I said, there's many trailers about it, but I just want to go with the shortest one. Reason being with Ghost Runner, which is I think it's still currently $29 on PlayStation on the PlayStation Store. Y'all, it is. I usually don't say this about mini games or about being low priced outside of Streets of Rage 4 and Battletoads and things of that nature. Ghost Runner is actually, in my opinion, a great game. Now, just to give you not to go too much into the story, but I will say this: your main weapon is pretty much what the main character is holding. Of course, obviously a sword. However, you do have other options as well. With other options, I mean is that there's actually his speed and agility, and to go into that, the fact that he can control them and you'll be able to customize it makes it great to play. At the same time, what I also love about that game is that it has increased difficulty, which means that it actually adapts the way you play. So if you get better with it, the game automatically will adjust. And I don't know about you, I love games like that. When you don't have to worry about changing the difficulty and that it already adapts to the way you play, it makes it more awesome. At the same time, it is definitely a reactionary game, which means that for a lot of people, if you don't believe in as far as playing games kind of like a quick time event, which there's not any QTEs or quick time events in the game, but it will mean that you're as far as using your main player's abilities and especially getting around areas and platforms is going to take a little bit of practice, because I know for me, I certainly died a lot until I finally got the hang of it, and then when I got the hang of it, it started to play great. But let's so I'll put it this way, just to say that if your reaction or hand coordination speed is really up there, you're fine. But if you're gonna take a while to figure out something, you might get a little frustrated. But then that's part of the game. But gameplay, as far as itself, is about 6 to 8 hours. Like I said, it's a very straightforward story, but I love the fact that it was, it wasn't too long, wasn't too short. It just really just makes you focus on the game aspect, and the story behind it's pretty great. I won't go too much into the story because, simply put, it is one of those stories that has to be experienced in order for you to get it. But I will say this: if you were on the fence about getting Ghost Runner, you definitely should, just because if you're like me, if the story is great, the gameplay is fluid, and it just brings you in, those three things usually get me to buy a game, and I do not regret spending $30 on buying Ghost Runner. I would actually do it again in a heartbeat, but that's just me. But moving right along, so like I said, for other games I was playing with, this other game, of course, Apex Legends. I still play from time to time, and sometimes, because it's a first-person shooter, and it's a sandbox game, which means it's free to play, but it will microtransaction the crap out of you, similar to Fortnite and other games. But Season 7 actually brings some different things to Apex Legends, and here's a trailer for it.
Oh man, that thing is giving us a really nice glow. Oh, come on, dude, you're always crowded. That was gonna be the money shot!
Stop fooling around with yourself, yeah? Thanks to you, all my crap's on that ship.
Yeah, well, that was the plan, right? Okay, new plan. Follow the rocket. Hey, that's all yours. Wait, what? You don't know how to fly? Do you? Do you? I know how to fly.
There she is. Bloody hell. Bath, can you track the jump signature?
I can. Go me.
Right. Are you ready for this?
Am I ready? Ready for what?
Punch it.
Hey, not too shabby. They dropped me off at the Lido deck. I'm late for my massage. What is that?
Maybe it's the welcome committee.
Bye, friend.
Oh dear. Not very light on his feet, is he?
Olympus Arena.
Looks like the game's afoot. Oh, you might need this.
So much for my day off. Chew on this, Jack! What are you doing?
Eyes up, lads. Shall we carry on then?
Nothing possible.
All right, lads. Time to go.
Whoa, what? Are you insane?
What? I'm a bloody genius. I do love field research. Whoops a daisy. You got a little something there.
Okay, so that was the Season 7 beginning of Apex Legends. Of course, as you see, another legend has dropped in. She's interesting. There is no other way to put this except for the simple fact of the matter is the newest legend called Horizon, which is now actually being added to this. Brings a different character setting and also brings another stage, Olympus, and actually brings something new to Apex Legends that a lot of people have asked for and as yet has been entered in, and I am talking about vehicles. Of course, as you see from there, if you've been on Apex Legends, because it's actually been going on for like 4 days now, you have probably been able to see and actually play with the vehicles that people can hop onto to bring a whole other edge of gaming. Now, again, with Apex Legends, either you buy the legends themselves, of course, through microtransactions, or, if you keep on playing to accumulate points, you can eventually unlock characters you can play there as far as loot and things of that nature. And, of course, with the battle pass they have, you can also purchase those things and make them unlocked immediately. Now, I'm not going to go into this whole, shindig of what I believe about microtransactions in video games, even though Apex Legends itself is free. But the fact of the matter is that as every season goes, you just find yourself paying for another battle pass. And if that's your bag, that's cool. It's just for me, I just don't. I mean, it makes no sense to do that. I mean, I've gotten to the point now to where I've almost unlocked every legend except Horizon, who's actually brand new, just by playing the game, which means, it's a lot easier for me to do. But if you like customization, things of that nature, like I said, it's part of the Fortnite generation, but I actually prefer Apex Legends over Fortnite just because Fortnite is... it's not my cup of tea. I'll be honest. It's not my cup of tea. It might be somebody else's, but it's not mine. But still, I just can't get behind that. I tried. It doesn't work out. But guys, that being said, like I said before, played it, like it. But like I said, I like Apex Legends. Same up there with Call of Duty Warzone. It's just that it just takes getting used to, especially because I haven't played Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 3. So. Playing Warzone is taking a little bit of getting used to, but also Warzone's a good free to play if you would like to do that as well. Now, with that also being said, guys, like I said, today's date, of course, November the 8th, we are not too far off from two of the most anticipated releases that will be coming out before the Xbox Series X and PS5 launches. So let's go ahead and get into them. For the first one, that's actually going to be coming out about 4 days from now, November 12th, and we all, especially I, am looking forward to this one.
A hero's just someone who doesn't give up. Your dad said that. He was right. Now it's your turn. Go be a hero, Miles.
Okay, let's do this.
Yes, Spider-Man Miles Morales will be coming out very soon, November 12th on PS4, and of course they'll be coming out on PS5 as well. With that being said, I know guys are like, well, I'm just going to wait till PS5, which is fine. I mean, but you have to understand, a lot of people don't understand, like with PS5, and that's actually another bit of news I wanted to share with everybody. With PS5 pre-orders, I mean, yes, I can understand that you're waiting to get it on PS5, and for all those that are still wanting to get a PS5, and probably wondering when your local GameStop or video store may have them, unfortunately, outside of pre-orders, that might be nearly impossible, since Sony has decided that they're going to be selling all of their PS5s online. And the thing that has bothered me is because if they're pre-orders or anything like they're selling online, it's going to go quicker than tickets used to go at Comic-Con in California, which means that blink and everything is gone. So I do like the fact that Spider-Man Miles Morales will be on PS4 just because it's a little easier to come by on PS4 versus the other side of, well, trying to get on PS5. Now, of course, this does follow the Marvel excuse me. This does actually follow the Marvel Spider-Man that actually came out a little over 3 or 4 years ago. I know it's been that long in 2020 that we feel like it's 3 or 4 years ago. But it is going to follow Marvel's Spider-Man, which also was a great hit if you haven't had the chance to play that on PlayStation 4. That now PS4, that the Miles Morales is going to basically focus on his story. And anybody, if you're not really a comic book head, this is following the story of Miles Morales, who was trained by Peter Parker in the 616 universe to basically become Spider-Man. Of course, if you've seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, it does kind of dip a little bit into that universe, as well as explaining about the Spider-Verse itself. So as far as the game itself, it actually has new villains in it, as well as, of course, the same things we're expecting from Spider-Man as far as combos, things of that nature, with a twist since Miles, of course, has the ability to charge do Venom strikes, which is just electrified attacks, and he can go invisible. So I'm just wondering where they're going to go with this game. I mean, since it was done by the same people that did Marvel Spider-Man, I think that Miles Morales is going to be great. Now, of course, my dumb tail, because, I have no kids and pretty much it's just me outside of a girlfriend, went ahead and pre-ordered this for PS4. So hopefully by November the 12th, which I believe that falls on a Thursday. So Thursday of this week, Spider-Man Miles Morales does drop. And hopefully... I'm not going to try to beat the game. I'm definitely not going to try to beat the game altogether, but hopefully we'll have a review of Spider-Man Miles Morales next week, next Sunday, on the next Git Bit Podcast. But that is not the only game that's going to be released. This game actually is going to be released on the 10th, which I believe the 10th falls on a Tuesday. And this is also another game that is to be expected. This is also another game to be expected on the PS. It was going to be expected on the PS5 as well, and Xbox Series X. It is also still being released for PlayStation 4. And for all those that are wondering, I am talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. For all those that don't remember, here's a trailer.
They are heartless. Godless barbarians. They murder and kill blindly. They scar the lands of England. Lands they will never defend, never love. The time has come to speak to them in a language they will understand.
Somebody tell me. Answer if you can. Oh, somebody tell me.
God's with us!
What is the soul of man?
Yes. Of course, that is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And like I said before, this is also being released on the Xbox One and PS4 and and Xbox Series X and PS5 and PC. Of course, this will actually be coming out in 2 days. I also pre-ordered this. So like I said before, I like how Vaughn put that. We are big kids. We are. I mean, let's be honest. We were always told that, hey, you can't get what you want unless you pay for it, unless you get a job. And, well, we got a job. The video addiction, game addiction never went away. So again, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Also, I love the fact of where Ubisoft is going with this. I think that after Assassin's Creed 3, like I said before, Assassin's Creed 3 was great, but what they've done with Origins, Odyssey, and now Valhalla, if they follow what they did with Origins and Odyssey, I think Valhalla will be a great game as far as you being a Viking. Looks like being a Viking pre-Ragnarok age, if you will. Since Ubisoft's usually known for being historically as far as when the timeline goes. I know a lot of people are saying you guys are forever waiting. You are forever waiting for Assassin's Creed to go to feudal Japan. I usually go to Ubisoft message boards just to see what they say, and of course, aside from that, they want to see a feudal Japan type Assassin's Creed. Even though Assassin's Creed did try to do a separate story about China, and it didn't actually play off well in the Xbox 360 series. Do I think that we need to visit feudal Japan? Yes, I would like to think so. But what Ubisoft likes to do, because let's be honest, with every Assassin's Creed game, you're looking about maybe 4 to 5 years of putting that together. So it'll be interesting to see what they do if they do go to feudal Japan. I'm not sure if they will or if they won't, but it will be interesting to see what they do. But again, that comes out in a couple days, so if you've purchased it, you're just waiting for it to become available to you. Cool. Like I said before, since I also pre-ordered that game via PlayStation Network. Hopefully we'll have a review of Assassin's Creed Valhalla and a review of Spider-Man Miles Morales on Sunday. Vaughn, I know you're watching. I'm pretty sure you don't want to come over my house because, that'd be a wonderful time. I would love to get your views on that as well. So, hopefully, Vaughn, if you're up to it or, you're free-handed, Sunday you can come over and give it a shot and see what you think as well. That also being said, guys, like I said, those are the upcoming games that are coming out. Really not a lot because, like I said before, the election it kind of sapped a lot of our time this week. So we really didn't get to a point of where other games are being released. I can tell you that if you have been keeping up with The Mandalorian, especially since Chapter 11, Episode 2, the second season came out, and this is a spoiler alert, so I will start talking about The Mandalorian Episode 2. If you haven't seen it and intending on seeing it, please right now either mute me or probably go away from me for about the next few minutes. But the story itself, it really should have been really labeled, keep Baby Yoda away from eggs. Because the whole story of transporting a mother and her pods, if you will, to their next settlement was part of him trying to basically find where the Mandalorians have escaped to from season 1. And it was just interesting that, the whole thing about the tie-in with the Rebel Alliance and trying to convince them that, hey, I'm not who you're looking for. It really did kind of give a these are not the droids you're looking for kind of feel to it. It really did. With the whole thing about going into the cave and all the spiders and things of that nature, and still being saved by the very two X-wing fighters that initially were actually looking for you, was an interesting twist, as well as the Mandalorian realizing that Baby Yoda may be klepto, because every time he got near that pod, he ate an egg. And it's just like, even at the end where, the ship, tore all asunder, and everything else, it was interesting to where, he still looks over at the mother who is shielding her young, and he's like, okay, cool, and pops in an egg. Where does I was like, this is how I know Baby Yoda is klepto. Baby Yoda is literally klepto, because no matter what, he still managed to get an egg. I'm so surprised he had some children left. But it does actually bring up some interesting things. I mean, does he have allies with the rebels now? Because, of course, they're still warrant out for his arrest, but they don't really take him in, but they don't really help him fix his ship either. So it's an interesting dynamic going forward next on what they do with the Mandalorian when they arrive at the planet, to where supposedly another Mandalorian was seen. But like I said, it's just really Mandalorian itself for season 2 so far is really just pumping out great episodes, and I can't really complain about any of that. Really, anything else in the anime world? We're still waiting on My Hero Academia because of the Jump Fiesta that's actually going to be coming out with Shonen, which usually comes out every December. I want to say near November, beginning of December. But at the moment, we don't know when My Hero Academia Season 5 will start. We know it will start just because of how popular of an anime it is. And the manga, of course, is far ahead. So, and I've been reading the manga, and I don't really want to talk about the manga that much because the anime will eventually catch up to it. But trust me, once the episodes for My Hero Academia do start, it is going to be awesome as far as where they're going with it. Same with Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer has, even though as popular as Demon Slayer is, the manga seems to be the only way as far as continuation, which does, of course, currently right now it's ended at chapter 206. But the Infinity Train, which is basically smashing box offices in Japan, even during coronaviruses, eventually it will be a English dub to the U.S. But anybody that knows anime knows that once it's produced in Japan, it takes about a year before it gets to the U.S. or so. But even so, Infinity Train is actually a part of the Demon Slayer series. So I'm not sure. Like I said, it's weird that it's such a popular anime that it wasn't already greenlit for a season 2. It was actually greenlit for a movie, which was the Infinity Train that's playing right now. And if you read the manga, then you've already read through the Infinity Train arc, which I have, and honestly, it's pretty great. So it's one of those things that I don't want to discuss, but I would love to discuss. But again, I'm still looking forward to it, actually watch it, even though I read it in the manga. But it is weird that Demon Slayer has yet to be greenlighted for season 2. I mean, it's almost all but certain considering how popular the anime is. But again, it might be waiting until the Jump Festival, which again won't be until near the end of November, beginning of December, to where they may announce when Demon Slayer season 2 may start. But I'm almost more than certain we're going to get one. Beyond that, guys, there is really nothing else. I got nothing else at that point. I mean, I did know the AEW Full Gear did start. I haven't had a chance to view it. I've heard nothing but positive reviews about it. But I will actually take a look at that and sit there and say, with most wrestling WWE, like I said, with most AEW and WWE pay-per-views, with WWE, it's really just a hit or miss. But AEW seems to be pretty consistent about their pay-per-views. And Full Gear, just from what I've been told, was just great. Which I, at this podcast, do plan to go through and actually watch. But I'm not surprised about AEW because they're doing all the right things, and WWE is still mucking up. So that's all really that I got, guys, for this podcast. Like I said before, not really a lot. Hopefully it was just enough of a distraction. I hope it was a distraction because, like I said, this election has drained us. This election has really shown some sides of people that I don't think they were ready for. Well, let's be honest. It's going to make Thanksgiving a whole lot interesting now that you know where people stand on certain things. But before I do get out of here, guys, I am not the only person with podcasts here, and I definitely want to shout them out, especially for my buddy Vaughn, Big VZA Dot, who has shared my show, which I thank you. Vaughn is also seen as Facebook as Big VZA Dot, and Big VZA Dot on social medias. He actually has a few shows of his own. If you want to know what those shows are, you can definitely go to his Facebook page, definitely go to videos, and definitely go to his videos, as I will show you what I'm doing right now, and go over his shows. One show that I love to bring up the most because I love looking at this mugshot is his first show called Random as Fuck, which he usually does every Tuesday. What is Random as Fuck? Is the pool of ratchets we sometimes dip our toes into to take a break from life and have a chuckle. Some videos make you think, some videos make you cry, some videos just stick with you until the end of time. As you can see in this one, he has done the theme of love is evil, So if you've seen Christopher Titus, you know exactly where he gets that reference from. But he always does those videos to a theme. Like I said, I usually point this out because this looks like a man. This looks like the face of a man who's about to sit there and say, "Oh, so you about to lie? I know you about to lie, but I'm gonna hear you out though. But look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. I know you lying already." I'm sorry, Mon. It really does look like that. And also other shows that he has is also I hope I got this one. Yep, this is a VST, or the Intercast. And what is the VST Intercast? It's a news podcast, similar to mine. His news can be music, video games, or trailers. I call him the king of weird trailers just because he seems to find the weirdest ones out there. And like he usually says in most of his stuff, in this video right here, he is a big-ass kid. And I can't blame him because I'm right there with him being a big-ass kid. But his interactive show, just like mine, so you definitely can watch that. And he also has Rhythmness. What is Rhythmness? It's a place where you can reminisce over the rhythm. And usually he likes to do this as a group, where we get together and we listen to music and give our opinions on music. We're not well, he won't say he's a musical critic by any means. I will sit there and say what is trash and what is not. I have no problem doing that. And me and Vaughn are usually on different sides of the musical spectrum, but hey, difference in conversation leads to great things. Difference in musical taste leads to great conversations, with the word I was looking for. And also, you can join in too. Like I said, all of his shows are definitely interactive. Aside from that one, he does have another one, which I like to call, what he calls Fonking Around. And now, if you've never seen Fonking Around, let me give you an idea. See, Vaughn is a person that likes to tickle the ivory keys. He is a purveyor of the piano and other things of that nature. He's a music man. And I've always loved the fact that he had this idea himself to turn around and sit there and say, I want to show my process. Only because I want to show my greatness. I want to show how I got to be. Because the beats is my babies. And I want to show how my babies are made. He also wants to show his setup. Humbleness. I don't know what the box cutter's there for, but I'm assuming it's there for a reason. But anyway, but like I said, usually with Vaughn, like I said before, it's a whole musical. It's a musical journey. I like watching because, like I said, I am not a musically inclined person in any shape or any form. But in his case, he definitely does love to show that process, and I, for one, am definitely not mad at him. So therefore, if you, like I said before, all of his shows can be found on his Facebook page at abigbza. And of course, abigbza on all social medias, to where you can see him and be able to get his opinion on a lot of things. Now, the other person, which we're going to have to remind him to definitely do podcasts, Thomas Reed, a.k.a. The Mountain Puncher, usually has a podcast called To Be Determined. What is To Be Determined? It's a fitness podcast. Now, of course, if you know Thomas Reed on Facebook or you're friends with him, you know where I'm going with this. All he does is work out. Literally. Figuratively. All he does is work out. Don't believe me? Go to his Facebook page, Thomas Reed, and you'll be able to see. I guarantee he's probably working out at this moment. And don't get me wrong about working out. You see him, tank tops, arms all out, chest all out, and just literally picks up weights for somebody that doesn't like mirrors and always seems to find one. But he does love to work out. He does love to reach his zenith, as you can see, and also loves to show how others should be. That was a terrible intro. He also loves to show people how to actually get to where he is, or to get to yourself. Because, your goal may not be, getting muscles or gains, he loves to point out. Your goal may not be always wearing a tank top like Thomas always likes to put on tank tops. but you might be trying to make yourself better both mentally and physically, and Thomas can actually help you do that, as well as give his personal testimony from the gym. Now, usually he has sat there and said that he's going to start every Thursday, but I see I'm going to have to do my job and remind him to do so. Or you can reach out to Thomas Reed and go, hey, Thomas, I would love to see your podcast. I would love for you to sit there and, speak some gems. Show us how you can do this. How else can you sit there and basically put almost 848 to, that might be 945 him. How you put 945 plates on a leg press and just squat and just press it out with no issue? Because look at the hams. Look at the calves. I'm just saying, he ain't even trying. That's dedication right there. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, he gonna get on me. He gonna get on me because I'm basically ragging his ass. But like I said before, he does love to help people. And like I said, I always tell him, if you want some workout tips from Thomas, reach out to him. He is more than happy to help you. But To Be Eternal Podcast is where it's at. So definitely look up Thomas Reed on Facebook or 2TBD on YouTube to basically see his podcast from there. Now, as for yours truly, I do have podcasts of my own. The first one every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. is the Burned Out Podcast, in which I tell stories from my IT background for humor, for laughs. Really, it's a stress reliever for me, but laughs for you. So if you find it funny, cool. If you don't find it funny, then hey, I'm talking about you. You need to lighten up. Of course, every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon is the How the Frack We Got Here, my weekend political and U.S. News local podcast, in which we go over everything in the world that I used to say. We go over everything in the world that Dorito has tried to burn down. But now I can say this with so much certainty. Dorito has an expiration date. Now I have to change. Now I have to figure out a new way. Now I have to find a new catchphrase for my podcast. Maybe we have to figure out how to clean this all up after the orange baby has left the womb. Yeah. But anyway, definitely look forward to that every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. Of course, later on, I know we didn't have an off-limits podcast this Saturday, but we will be back next Saturday from 8 to 10 with a new subject. Of course, with off-limits podcast, we do talk about anything and everything, the comfortable and uncomfortable. Only reason doing that because we've actually got to move forward. The only way we can move forward is to talk about those subjects that people in church kind of blush over, or it's kind of like that special thing at your family reunion you can't talk about that they've been there for 11 years. Come on now, it's time to finally have that conversation. And of course, every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m., as you can see, is the Git Bit Podcast. So all of my shows can be found on my Facebook page at William Buchanan, or under their own Facebook and YouTube pages. So if you do look up the Burned Out Podcast, How the Frack We Got Here, the Off Limits Podcast, and Git Bit, that is GITBIT, you will be able to see every podcast that I've done thus far. Aside from that, guys, like I said, please be safe about COVID. It is still out there. It is still real. Cases are still climbing. So please do the right things. Be safe. Wear a mask. Try to avoid large crowds. If you feel sick, please stay at home. If you definitely are worse than that, then you definitely need to seek medical attention almost immediately, because we are still not out of the woods yet. So therefore, if we start doing the things that we should have done from Jump Street, eventually we will be past it. Aside from that, guys, like I said before, if you see nurses, doctors aides, those that work in environmental services at the hospital, simply say thank you, just because they are not getting the accolades they are due for risking their lives, for taking care of the sick, and possibly exposing themselves and bringing it back to their families. They are definitely taking a huge risk, and they should be thanked for that. They actually should get a lot more than that, but from just the overall public, you should thank them. And also thank essential workers as well as you see them. I'm talking truckers, gas station attendants, grocery store people, those that work in restaurants, those that work in fast food, those that work in warehouses like Amazon, those that are working in logistics like United States Postal Service, UPS, FedEx, DHL, all those areas, because they are taking a risk to keep things running and keep the lights on for the rest of us to stay home. Definitely thank you guys for that. Aside from that, guys, like I said before, if you like what I did, please let me know. If you didn't like what I did, please let me know. We're just trying to make this platform better for all to enjoy. And like I said, this is a blurred podcast. We always want to do podcasts for blurs because, hey, there's a lot of other things out there to enjoy that may not be considered black, but you know what? You're blurred, or you might be a nerd. It doesn't matter. If you like it, you love it, that's your fandom, and that's your hall pass to get into this podcast. So with that being said, guys, I do thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful Sunday evening, and if you are off tomorrow, lucky you, and if not, take a breath. We're going to get through this. Peace.